So a new apocalyptic shadow cycle is coming out in about 11 days, and it occurred to me that I never actually did any runs on this apocalyptic shadow for you guys, which is a shame too because I actually really like this one. So today we're going to be jumping into it and seeing how I'll do. So I actually quite like this apocalyptic shadow because it has two really fun enemies to fight against. Of course, I mean, they're not new to this mode, but it is some of my favorite team compositions that you can actually take for this, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So for node 1, I am going to be taking the Herta, and with a pretty free-to-play team since the Trailblazer and now Ron May are both free-to-play, except for Jade. She is kind of the exception there, but I could have probably taken 4-star Herta and it would have been just as good. But since there's an abundance of quantum typing as well, I don't see any reason to not include Jade on the team, and she does help build up my Herta's energy quite a bit. I feel like any one of these buffs could be really good for the Herta, except for maybe the last one, since that's obviously catered towards someone like Castor's. But the first two buffs in particular can go either way. Having that increased ultimate damage by 50% is very nice, but most of the time I'm actually only using my ultimate the most before I actually break through the weakness. So I would rather take a buff like the first one, which can just give me a penetration boost for once I break through as well. This time around, the bug does have a lot more health though, so let's see how my Herta team is going to do. All right, let's start it off. We're going to go ahead and use all of our supports abilities except for Ron May, of course. I'm going to be trying to boost up Herta as much as I can with her energy. So like in this case, she's already about to get a turn. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use Jade here. And then we'll go ahead and hopefully be able to get some energy in right here. Yeah, like this. All right, so I am going to go ahead and use Jade's ult. And that's going to give us the first Herta ult of this run. So if we go ahead and drop this in right here, let's see how much damage it's actually going to do. 400,000. Okay. That's not bad considering I don't have the 50% increase buff. But I know for a fact this is going to one-shot. 1.2 million. Not bad. Actually, I think Jade's follow-up did help a little bit there, but still, that is some pretty good damage. Trailblazer did get sealed there. I would prefer Mem, especially in a situation like that since I'm about to get my ult. But because he got his turn right there, it really doesn't matter if I'm being honest. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Now that they all spawned, I can go ahead and use Mem's ultimate here. And that gives us another Herta ult right back to back, which is crazy. Like the energy consumption with this team, or regeneration I should say, is really, really good. So let's go ahead and drop in one more Herta ult. And just like that, we are already broken through with 1800 action value left. That's pretty good. Oh, and that's perfect. So I didn't actually have an extra skill point, but because I had Mim's action events, it's like it didn't even matter. We're actually really, really close to the Herta's ult though. Yep, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. So let's go ahead and drop this in. And I don't know if this will be enough to kill, but we're going to find out. 2.8 million damage. Holy, that hit for a lot. Considering I don't have the Herta's light cone, are you kidding me? All right, so at this point, I need to refresh on the Herta, so that's exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do. It did give me a little bit of an advanced action forward, so I don't think I'm going to get Herta's ult right here though before we get hit by all this. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, Jade might be dead actually. Okay, yeah, go for Mem and Ron May preferably since they have the most HP. All right, there we go. So we did get another Herta ult. Ideally I would want to have more health on Jade just so I feel safe, but we do still have Castor's global passive, so I'm not tripping too much. Even if we get hit by this big attack, I'm not tripping about it. All right, so obviously Jade's gonna die here from this, but the Trailblazer lived, which is really good. So what I'm gonna do now is I can drop every ult in, and hopefully I'll have enough energy on Mim right here to where I can get the Herta. If I can get to the Herta, I think we're good. Or actually, no, we're fine anyway, because the one that didn't die right there did end up dying. All right, that was actually a little scary, but we made through it. Okay. All right, that looks like that's going to be it. So let's go ahead and break through here. Perfect. That time around, I'm actually going to have my ult early to start this off, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and drop the ult in. One pop, two pop, 3 and 4, just like that. Oh my gosh, 2 HP left. That's actually crazy. That's kind of crazy. He hung on with that 2 HP though. Imagine if he would have died. That would have been so amazing. But there we go. Herta finished it off. So final action value of 1604. What can I say about that run except for wow? I mean, it wasn't perfect, of course, but like the Herta, she hits extremely hard. I did have to kind of rely on that global passive there towards the end because I didn't have enough energy. Otherwise, I probably could have broken through before I got hit by that big attack. But even still, like the amount of damage that the Herta was hitting for here was actually pretty crazy. All right, moving on to node 2 here with Hule. So I'm going to be taking Feixiao, of course, but with a quite free-to-play team. Again, similarly to the first half, the only one that's going to be the exception here is going to be Robin. But I am going to be taking Imaginary March 7th along with Bronya there. So it is going to be really nice. No sustain again. We really don't need one anyway. But obviously Feixiao is going to be hitting extremely hard. And even more importantly, breaking through the weakness a lot quicker as well, since I have Action Advance Forward along with March 7th to keep building up stacks. And in my opinion, the buffs on this side are a little bit weaker because Hule is obviously not as strong as the bug is. But also, this is the buff we're going to be taking. Increasing allied targets follow-up attack damage by 30% and increase 30% against enemy targets that are weakness broken. So it's not the strongest buff for this team, although I guess I could take Sweeping Storm too if I wanted to. So yeah, that's how node 2 is gonna look. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we do have Robin's ult here. I'm gonna go ahead and use this to go ahead and get things started. So I do have Bronya, but I feel like a lot of the time I'm not playing around her skill point enough right there. Oh man, that enemy should have died. If he would have died right there, we would have been solid. That's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. We got 2 stacks of Feixiao's ult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use them. I know it's probably better to save at least one for once we break through, but because we're doing so much toughness damage right here and we get the stacks back quite quick with this team, I'm just going to go ahead and waste all of them here. I mean, we're doing quite a little bit of damage. I mean, not too much, but that toughness bar is already extremely low, so I'm okay with that. Nice, March. There we go. So we already broke through. Not too shabby. Yeah, my Feixiao and my Bronya aren't synced up as well as I would want them to be, but I think it's okay. Nonetheless, I mean, my Feixiao is getting a really high boost from Robin and Bronya right now. Sorry, let's go ahead and attack this. I'm actually going to save the ult, though, until we get the advance forward. All right, now let's go ahead and pop ult. Yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, 800,000. That's not bad. It's not the Herta levels, but that's pretty good, honestly. But then again, with the Herta, that was like hitting more than one enemy. So yeah, this side I feel like I do worse on, especially because I'm not utilizing my Bronya well enough. But it's not bad. I mean, the damage output is still pretty good. March is definitely helping out as much as her little heart can do. Wow, we're actually really close to breaking through too here. I almost broke through, but that's fine because one of the enemies is extremely weak, so it's not a problem if I'm not able to there. All right, so that's pretty much it for this run. It's just a rinse and repeat. Try to get my damage up as high as I can with Feixiao. All right, March, can you finish this for me? Let's see if she can. Nice, there we go. Okay, so 1500 plus remaining action value. Not too bad. Like I said, this is definitely the side that I struggle more on, but also it's just because I wasn't really, like I said, utilizing Bronya well enough there, but she still buffed me up quite a bit with Robin, so that was a pretty good amount of damage if I do say so. But there we go. I even broke my new record, so 7,100. Not too bad, I'm not gonna lie, especially since most of these characters are free to play. Like majority of the 2 teams, or at least more than half of them, are free to play characters, which is really nice. So there we go. That is going to do it for this Apocalyptic Shadow. What can I say? I think this is a fun one. It did take me really long to actually do runs for this. I don't know why. I really love Apocalyptic Shadow. I think it's my favorite in-game mode. And the new cycle is actually about to come out in less than 2 weeks. So I'm definitely going to be pushing out some more videos on this cycle since I think it's really fun. But for now, I think this is my favorite combination to be taking because the Herta just slaps in any game mode, and Feixiao is really strong in Apocalyptic Shadow. So that's gonna do it for today. Like I said, I love Apocalyptic Shadow. I think it's my favorite in-game mode just because of how easy it is, and I mean, you don't have to even take a sustain at all. I mean, that can be said for Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction nowadays too, but even so, Apocalyptic Shadow is like the easiest in my opinion. And plus, those damage numbers are always really cool to see because of how strong the buffs can be. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. Let me know what teams you have been using and what you thought of the characters that I brought, since I think I did okay. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.